Hi, I'm Sean Clark. I'm standing at Camp Forest Green, aka Camp Crystal Lake from Friday 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Welcome to Horror's Hollow Grounds. 1, 2, 3, About here is where the Eternal Peace Cemetery sign was. In the ground, right about here. And then Tommy decides he's gonna make a run for it. He's gonna take him down to the Eternal Peace Cemetery. And he turns right here and heads down this road,
which actually leads to the camp. So we're going to go to this location a little bit later. Right now we're going to head to Eternal Peace Cemetery, which is in a completely different location.
The shot begins here, and they head off in this direction. And this is where the facade entrance to Eternal Peace Cemetery was placed. Right here. And then they start to go this way, and it cuts to back over pretty much where that red truck is. So the car stops right here, and Tommy runs off in this direction. We just came from over there. And then it cuts back to here where the car stops. You can see that sort of monolith looking tombstone in the background. And they chase after him. He slips and falls right here, gets up, heads this way. He gets to this corner here, goes this way. Gets to this corner here, cuts this way. Then makes a quick right down this little path here. So after he cuts down this way, it then starts to cut into some tight shots. So it looks back this way actually. We see him running by those two right there. Let me get in tighter. It's kind of like that angle. He's running in this direction here, and he stops and he actually turns right over there and heads towards me. You see him running past this fence here. You can see that curve in the bar there at the end. See one of the cops run by here. Then there's a shot from here of Tommy running this way. And right here is where he tackles him and picks him up. Then it cuts to a fake cemetery. And then the caretaker shows up. Dig him up? Does he think I'm a fart head?
We are now in the fake cemetery. This was built just off of Fairplay Road in Rutledge, according to Tom Matthews, who did some serious digging through his old call sheets and notes and found what he believes is the exact location. I will show you in a moment. I also spoke to Pam O'Hare, who was the location manager, and she told me this was also about, she said about 30 minutes from the actual cemetery. She hired some locals to dig this hole, and they built the cemetery around it for these scenes. You can tell in some of these shots, like when the lightning strikes here, if you look at the brick, you can tell it's fake. It looks plastic. If you get a good look at it there, you know, when the light hits it, you can pretty much tell that that's plastic. But anyway, they did a pretty good job of replicating the other cemetery. Even looks good here during the daytime. See? Well, anyway, this is the spot where Tom Matthews says he believes it to be. Unfortunately, I was unable to go to this spot. I drove right past it, but he gave me this info after I got back from Georgia. And it's right in this area here. That's all I got for you on this one for now. We're now at the Forest Green Sheriff Department. This is in downtown Covington, Georgia. A lot of people have been to this location, covered it pretty thoroughly, but, you know, had to go see it for myself. One thing I did notice, though, is nobody that I've seen, I haven't watched them all, but from the ones I saw, I never saw anybody actually go inside. I mean, they did use just inside the door there as he goes into the sheriff's office. So let's go take a look inside so you can at least see what it really looks like, you know, because otherwise you'll never know. See, this was in the movie right here. This was in the film. But as you walk into this door, it cuts to a set. But this is what the real place looks like. It's a medical supply type of store. They sell like chairs for elderly people that have trouble getting up and stuff like that. And just getting a better look at this area here before we exit and head down, just like they did. They head this way and jump in her car. You look down the street there. You can see that big building at the end of the street. It's kind of the town square. That's been used in so many productions. It was also the town square in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009.
So, a couple things about this episode. I know you're saying, hey Sean, you're a little late to the game. Friday the 13th Part 6 has been covered thoroughly by several people. I've always wanted to see it for myself because I'm a fan. Always wanted to go to the camp. I mean, it was a bucket list. But I always like to grab a few things that nobody else has. And I have. So I'm going to show you a few locations nobody has found. Now, I'm going to avoid a couple. Paintball scene, nobody knows exactly where it was. It was somewhere near the camp. I've spoken to everybody that could possibly know from that damn movie. And nobody remembers exactly where it was, but it was somewhere near the camp. The spot where Nancy McLaughlin's killed, dirt road somewhere near the camp. There's a lot of dirt roads that look like that. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, might have been here, blah, blah, blah. Not going to waste any time. Where the camper flipped, nobody knows exactly where it was. There's speculation. Again, nobody knows. There are a few people don't know about. So I'm going to drop a couple nuggets. Nugget number one. It's going to start over by here. Police station, exterior. We all know that. But did you know where the interior was shot? Did you know where the sets were built? Right there. Second floor. Let's go take a look.
Currently, the first floor of this building is a dance studio. At the time of filming, it was a department store. We'll get to that in a minute. I believe this, if you look right here where those windows are, I believe that is the front of that building. These windows here. And where the cell would be the corner. I'll show you in a sec. So that would be one side, and you cut over to there. I believe that would have been the corner of the building. There's a lot of windows in this building. As you can see, it's very big, goes all the way back. You can even see tons of windows that were covered up. You can still see the shape and outline of them and the windowsill. But Tom McLaughlin went on record saying he believed it was an old Woolworth's department store. That was incorrect. Someone in Crystal Lake Memories, the book, claimed it was a old Bell's department store. Well, that was close. It was a Belk department store, B-E-L-K department store. It was the upstairs of a Belk department store. That is where all the interiors for Friday the 13th Part 6 were filmed. See the white brick there? Take a look at the inside of the cell. Also white brick. Coincidence? Could be. That could be fake, but kind of cool that it does match.
Here we are at Karloff's General. Obviously, a nod to Boris Karloff. It looks like the phone booth would have been probably right about here. Not a whole lot to this. Cool old building. Moving on to the next. So they come from this direction, heading down this road, being chased, and come over to here. Now, right about in this area was the Camp Forest Green sign pointing in that direction. In reality, the camp is in that direction. In fact, you see the sign right there, Hard Labor Creek State Park. So this is where she comes right to this point here and says to hold on, it's gonna be a hairy turn. They head around this corner at Fair Play Road, not Cunningham Road. As she says, little nod to original Friday the 13th director Sean Cunningham. And they head off this way where the cops are waiting for them. Right about where my rental car is parked. Okay, kids, this one's a deep cut. See this Super 8 motel located at 10130 Alphaville Road, Covington? Right here, where this Super 8 motel is, used to be the production office of Terror Inc. That's right, the production office of Friday the 13th Part 6 was right here. Torn down, and now a motel. So if you ever come to Covington and you're a fan and you want to visit, you should stay here, because you can say you stayed where the production office was. Although, based on the looks of things, you may want to find someplace else. I don't know.
Long before GPS and the internet, this is how people found places. This was a map that was given to Tom Matthews by production to help him and other crew and cast members get to the camp every day. And now we head into Camp Forest Green, really known as Hard Labor Creek State Park, or Camp Crystal Lake, or Camp Little Wolf, as seen in the film Little Darlings. Speaking of which, see that tire swing? There it is in the film Little Darlings. Just throwing that tidbit in there. Back to Friday the 13th. So here's where they're unloading all the groceries from the truck. You can see all that in the background matching up perfectly. And then they head inside to the kitchen. Camera follows them in through this door here. This kitchen sign here appears to be on a door that no longer exists. This kitchen has changed quite a bit. Interesting thing about this kitchen is it's actually connected to the dining hall that was used for the girls' cabin. Not the girl counselors, but the little girls. We'll get to that in a little bit. I tried to recreate the way Court was sitting on the countertop, but this freezer that's in its place sits a lot higher, so I had to slouch and it wasn't working too well.
But then he gets really bummed when he sees the kids show up.
You see them through the window, but now there's a screen on it. You can't see them very well. And here is a new discovered location.
Right here's where the kids are sitting. They're talking to Trish, hearing her get them psyched up. Sissy's leaning against that tree there in the middle. And it cuts to Trish looking in this way towards the water. And right here in the fire pit are a bunch of logs that are shaped in a teepee sort of position. This is where Sissy reveals what her favorite sport is.
Boys, honey.
Now for the scene where Court is having sex in the RV, it was parked right here. Looking in that direction, framed so you couldn't see those buildings. They just put a fake pole with the electric thing that Jason cuts the cord on. You also notice there was a picnic table. They just pulled one of these picnic tables over here into frame, and boom, new location.
Now this is the boys' cabin. We never really get to see the inside of that cabin because what you're seeing here is just the girls' cabin redressed. They used the same location, which was the dining hall. You only really see in that doorway right there the inside of that actual cabin. And to my knowledge, nobody's actually ever gotten inside there before. So let's take a look inside and see what it really looks like inside the boys' cabin.
Now we enter the boys' cabin. Okay, how crazy is this? I literally am receiving a text from CJ Graham as I walk into this. That isn't a good sign. That looks like a nest of some sort. That freaks me out. Here it is, the boys' cabin. But as you can see, there's like another room back there. Kind of freaked out to walk in here just because I got a feeling there's gonna be fucking nests, like hornets or something that doesn't want to be disturbed. It's gonna be pitch dark in there, so I'm not even gonna be able to see in. But I do believe I might be the first one to get in here. I did not break in. I actually just pushed the door and it popped open. I did not even push hard. Just want to say that for the record. So.
And from the boys' cabin to the girls' cabin. This was actually the dining hall. See where all those beds are? Well, now there's tables. So replace those tables with beds, and you got the girls' cabin. Now you see that doorway there to the right. That doorway was covered up in the film, so you couldn't see the kitchen. That kitchen is the same one we were in earlier. I'm just giving you a quick breeze through here so you can see the layout. And over there, that's where Court was sitting, up against the window. And we're heading over towards the entrance. But we're going to pass that and go straight towards the freezer. For no reason.
So this is the girls' cabin. It's actually the cafeteria. They used it for the girls' cabin. They blocked that door there that goes into the kitchen, which is the same kitchen Court and them were in earlier. And the little girl was right over here. You can see that circle? Her head is right next to it in her bed, right there.
To further prove my theory that the interior of the boys' cabin is the same as the interior of the girls' cabin, I want you to take a close look at the markings on this door. The door here with the dartboard on it. Take a look. I'm going to freeze frame it here in a second. Boom. Take a look at the knots. Okay, memorize those knots. Now this is supposed to be the girls' cabin. Same knots, just missing a dartboard. It's the exact same room. They just dressed it a little bit differently, and boom. Or boom. I just busted that shit out.
Now right here, where this door is, and there was a door there when they filmed the movie, they made a fake window. So it looked like Jason was actually busting through the side of the wall and through a window. Right here. Pretty damn cool. So the police officer comes over here with his flashlight looking around. hear something over here in the trees. Could it be Jason? Just a little girl. Comes around this way and heads over here by the wood pile. And Jason comes out of the woods here, comes at him, and we see him get his head crushed right next to this wood pile. Not a way I'd like to go. I'd like to go maybe in my sleep after a nice meal and some sex, but not like this.
So the sheriff is taking a leisurely stroll behind this cabin, and he trips and finds his deputy dead with a wicked booger. It's right behind here. This tree was getting him away. I was having a hard time filming because of that stupid tree. A lot of branches. But then he confronts C.J. Graham, aka Jason, and they have an intense standoff right at the rear of this cabin, which is next to the picnic area, sort of. You can see the picnic table, so that's the dining hall in the background. And then he boogies off in this direction, like a hero would, running this way.
So this is where the pole was, where Jason cuts the phone wire. Just outside of the girls' counselor cabin. This was the girls' counselor cabin in Friday the 13th Part 6. And in the film Little Darlings, this was the teenage girls' cabin. One thing that you notice, I pointed out in my Little Darlings video, is right here, there's like a white symbol. It's faded today, but you can still kind of see it. It's very noticeable in both films, Little Darlings and Friday the 13th Part 6. So right here is where Sissy was sitting, right about where that table is, reading her magazine. You can tell by, see the pattern of the wood there? Still exactly the same today. Sissy then gets up and looks out this window here and thinks she's gonna play a trick on Court. You can tell this is the window because that black marking right there is very visible in the shot. Here's the window Sissy would be looking out of. And then if you could see, it's hard to see with the screen, but that would sort of be the point of view of when she's pouring the soda out. You can see the top of the ceiling there in the film. So this is where the little girl creeps up with the machete while she sleeps here, bed facing in this direction. You can match up where the little girl is standing right here. Take a close look at that line right there. You can see it just behind the little girl's shoulder. This is where the machete was. You can see this pattern here on the floor. The back of the machete at the bottom curve would have been sitting right about here, and the machete would have been lying here. Pretty cool that the floor has not changed over all these years, and neither has my shoes. And suddenly this door blows open, like so. Spooky. She walks over to close the door. And as soon as she does, she goes to close the door. Jason pushes it open. And then, boom, it gets shut. And then we cut back. Just left wondering what's going on inside there. Nothing good, I can tell you that.
And now we're into the finale of the film, which is actually 3 different locations that were used in order to create this big finale. This is still Hard Labor Creek State Park. I'll point out when it switches to the other locations.
Wow. This is insane. Yeah, why not, right? This is nuts.
Now, all of these shots here on the dock and everything was at Hard Labor Creek State Park. That is for sure and verified. But when they get out into the water, the fight scenes took place in a swimming pool. Director Tom McLaughlin said in the Camp Crystal Lake Memories book that it was an Olympic-sized pool on the campus of USC. That was incorrect. It was in the City of Industry. And actor Tom Matthews verified this by finding his map to the set, which he provided here for us to take a look at. And then once I figured out exactly where that pool used to be, which unfortunately it was just recently covered up and they're redeveloping the whole area, I was really surprised to find out it was a famous pool from another film. And we're going to go there in just a second. But here, take a look at the map that Tom Matthews provided so you can see it for yourself. Right here.
So this is it. This is where it happened. I'm probably going to be told to leave, but right here, this is where the pool was. See this big spot right here? This is the spot. This was the pool where Jason met his demise. Right in this area, right here. This is also the same pool from the Rodney Dangerfield movie, Back to School. It was right here. And less notably, the Sum 41 video that played on the whole Back to the School thing. But right here, in this area, was the giant pool, and they shot all the scenes where Jason basically is fighting with Tom Matthews and where he ultimately is chained to the bottom of Crystal Lake was in a deep hole right here. Something soon will be built on this spot. So there it is. History right here. Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School, the Triple Lindy, all that stuff. But also where Jason was defeated temporarily by Tommy Jarvis, aka Tom Matthews. And I have to give a big shout out to Tom Matthews because he's the one who let me know that this was the spot. He found some old call sheets and maps. And then I did my research. And I went, wait a second, I know that pool. It's the Back to School pool. And here it is, right here. So now we're gonna go back to the camp to finish up the episode. I just transferred myself from Georgia to California, and now we're going to go back to Georgia. Also, another interesting side note, not too far from here, just down here a few blocks, is where Dr. Loomis makes the phone call in the phone booth in the original 1978 classic Halloween, also here in the City of Industry. Could that even be the train going by? No, it isn't. That was a semi. But, you know, if you happen to come try to see this, you know, as you can see, there's big fences, and on the other side of it, it's kind of I thought I was gonna have to climb up a hill and look through a fence, but fortunately I got lucky and the gate was open. Clearly somebody's working here today. Oh, I see a security thing coming, so I'm gonna go. I see a little cart coming. See you later, bye.
So there was a third location used, and it was just for some insert shots. Tom McLaughlin actually went over to his father's house and used his swimming pool for a couple insert shots of Jason getting hit with the propeller of the boat. And those were shot in his father's swimming pool somewhere in LA.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again on another adventure. You know it. Now this is something you don't see every day. A truck just cruising down the railroad track, backwards. You know, I don't see this very often. This is something. Not really sure what, but it's something, and it's stopping. Maybe to say hello. Run for a tree. Yep. Don't see that every day. But not every day you see Jason either. So, there you go.